Hi guys, so I wanted to make this video and just say or tell you guys what exactly happened during my 7th week of pregnancy. Now, I had done the bump date, and in the bump date I was actually laying in bed. I couldn't get out of bed. I was cramping really bad. I was super nauseous. Like I couldn't even move. I was so nauseous. And if I were to sit up or stand up, I would vomit. So actually I filmed that bump date in bed, and as soon as I turned off the recording, my phone, and as soon as I sat up, I threw up. I couldn't even hold it in anymore. So I threw up really bad. I was really lucky I had grabbed a trash bag before I laid down and put it right next to me, because I threw up in that trash bag and it was a lot. The bad thing about when I threw up that time, as soon as I finished, I was so drained, I thought I was gonna pass out. I have never thrown up like that. It was to a point where I couldn't breathe and I couldn't stop throwing up. So when that happened, I sat up when I finished, and I put my head up against the wall because I was in bed. And at that point, blood started running down my ear. So that happened. So my ear was bleeding. I couldn't breathe. Maybe I didn't notice it at that point, but maybe like a few hours later, I noticed I had broken blood vessels around my eyes, and I wasn't able to touch them for like a few days. So that happened. But obviously the kids woke up from their naps. It was whatever, but I ended up going to the emergency because my ear was bleeding after I threw up, and I was cramping really bad, and I couldn't eat. At that point, I think I was like on day 2 of not eating, and I couldn't even take in water because I would throw up immediately. So I went to the emergency. They did some tests. We did like a lot of blood work. We did a urine sample, and we did an ultrasound. The ultrasound, that had been my first ultrasound that I had, and it didn't go it wasn't as great as I thought it would be. I think it's because it was in the emergency. She just like looked at me, and like she could tell that I'm freaking out because I was cramping, so I wanted to make sure everything was okay. And she was just she looked at me and she was like, we're gonna do the ultrasound, but I can't tell you anything. I can't tell you what the baby is. Like I can't even, if you look at the screen, you look at the screen, but if you don't, like, oh well, kind of thing. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I was having a little anxiety attack because I hadn't had an ultrasound yet, and I wanted to make sure everything was okay. There was a heartbeat, everything like that. I had just hit like 7 weeks and 3 days or something like that. So we did that. She freaked me out. She was able to tell I was kind of freaking out. She was just like, it's okay, you're fine. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And so we did that. I waited 4 hours until we got all of the results together. They're like, yes, you're 7 weeks, 3 days, or 7 weeks and 2 days. I measured, and I was like, okay, there's one baby. They couldn't figure out why I was so nauseous and why I threw up so bad, but they were going to run the test anyway. So, I left there after like being there for like 9 hours, and, I went home. I couldn't eat. They gave me Reglan, which is a nausea medicine. I know at Jasmine, my OB did not want me using Zofran because they had done a few studies, and it had a lot to do, especially in early stages of pregnancy. It was cleft palate. So I was like, okay, well, do you have anything else besides Zofran? So he gave me Reglan, and I took it the next day. Didn't do anything for me at all. In fact, I felt like I threw up more. So I couldn't keep anything down. I really tried. I tried broth. I tried like Jello. I tried water, and I couldn't keep anything down. I was like there for almost 5 days. And at that point, I couldn't stand for too long because I got really lightheaded and I would get really dizzy, and I can just feel myself almost passing out multiple times at that point, and I couldn't do anything about it. And so I had talked to I was going from the nurse practitioner, and she was talking to my OB, so that's how we were keeping contact, but we were going back and forth and back and forth, and she was just like, this is not a pregnancy thing, you need to go back to the emergency. So I went back to the emergency. They were like, no, this is all pregnancy. We'll do some tests if you want to, but you're going to be here for a really long time. I was like, that's fine. My OB wants all of this stuff done. They didn't want to do a couple of them. They're like, this is pregnancy. This isn't our issue. She could do this in the office. And then they're telling me, no, we can't do that in the office. So it was a bunch of drama. But in the end, they were like, no, you're not dehydrated, but my head hurts so bad. So I had pretty much begged them for an IV, because at that point they were like, you know what, you could take stuff down. And I was like, no, I can't. It's been 4 days. And so she was like, fine, drink this cup of water and we'll see what happens. So I drank that cup of water and I threw up. So, at that point, she decided to give me the IV, and for them telling me I wasn't dehydrated, it was really weird, because during the IV, like after it had been going for a while, like I could feel all the pressure from my head just release. And so how you're not dehydrated, but when you have the IV, when you finally have fluid in you, it doesn't make sense. Like, how can I not be dehydrated? But that's happening to me. So at that point, I was just like, okay. After that, the next day I had my first like official ultrasound that I had scheduled like a long time ago, maybe like 5 weeks ago. And that went really well. And they were like, no, baby's doing good. There's one baby. I was like, yes, thank you. I have a picture. I'll probably post a picture right now. That's the ultrasound. And then heartbeat was going at 164 at the emergency, and around 160 during the ultrasound. So it was really good. They're like, baby has a really good strong heartbeat. So I was like, oh, thank God, at least someone's okay between the two. But yeah, I've been pretty much been able to eat for the past 2 days, so doing a lot better. It was just a lot. It was just way too much. I've never gotten sick like this. I still don't know exactly what happened as of my ear though. So I'm wearing makeup, so you can't really see the broken blood vessels, but it's underneath. But I wasn't able to touch my eyes for a few days. But I did rupture my eardrum from throwing up. It was just all that pressure that I had built up, and when I was throwing up, I've never thrown up like that. But yeah, I have a ruptured eardrum that I'm taking antibiotics for, so, and they're completely safe with the pregnancy. So that's pretty much it for my story times. That was my 7th week of pregnancy, and that's definitely a week I'm never gonna forget for the 3rd baby. So that was interesting. But I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, thumbs up and subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Bye.